Did you know there are currently about 73 million people, 12 and up, using some type of drug? 64 million are smoking that Mary Jane. 10 million are taking hallucinogens that leave you seeing your dog hit the Dougie. And about 800K are genuinely Fenty folding in the street. And that's not a joke. However, there is one drug you absolutely need a daily dose of, and that drug is life. If you've ever heard someone say they're high on life, that's the drug I want to prescribe to you today. The drug of life is that high you get when you feel on top of the world. Like, you feel this sense of overwhelming happiness, gratitude, and appreciation for life. For example, you ever been like hella cold and then you run and hop under the covers and get all comfy and then you start having a happiness seizure? That's one of those highs. Don't leave me on this island. I know y'all have experienced that shit before. Leave it in the comments. But before I go into that, I want to stay on regular drugs for a second. I like regular drugs, recreational drugs. I like drinking. I like smoking weed here and there. I'm gonna just be honest. You know, it can be a heightened to the experience of life sometimes. I'm not gonna pretend like some of my favorite memories don't consist of those exact drugs. Nothing beat like those moments having those deep ass talks late night and laughing our asses off. The hardest I've probably ever laughed after blowing down a joint, bruh, or being 12 shots deep on some Casamigos and we on vacation. Those are good times, right? But moderation, moderation is key. Listen, the problem is not the drugs inherently. I don't feel like there's balance and everything. You have to have a balance with this. It's okay to have your fun, of course, but when you don't know how to stop yourself, shit becomes an issue. You don't know where your line is, shit becomes an issue. When you start taking these drugs to try to soothe the ebbs and flows of everyday life, shit becomes an issue. And that's kind of also why I'm talking about this topic today, because I've been on the other side of letting shit, not knowing my line essentially, or trying to escape life through the things, especially with the nicotine story I told. I know that's not a hard drug to most people, but the addiction with that is real. And feeling like a slave to anything in this life fucking sucks. All the same. Sometimes this process can happen by accident because, see, what we start to do is start to associate these drugs with the situational things. Like, if I'm going out to a party, I gotta have a couple of shots before I go out so I can get loose, blah, blah, blah. That whole sentiment right there, right? My personal issue with that is I believe there's some sort of illusion there, illusion that this drug really is, I don't know, the source or something. And what I'm trying to communicate today is that no drug, none of these drugs will ever compare to the drug that is life. Never, never, never confuse that. Because the best moments in life, just raw dogging that shit, the ups and the downs. Like, for example, like it hits different when you're completely sober, right? And let's say you're on a football team or a basketball team and you guys win y'all's Friday night game, bro. And you feeling on top of the world, you feel elated, you feel euphoria. That that is a high of life. It feels greater than any high that a drug can give you, honestly, on a consistent basis. And it's good for you, right? For all my outdoorsy people, you ever been on a hike? I've been getting into waterfall hikes lately, like long ass hikes that include a waterfall at the end of it. That's another high of life. You get to the end of that and you feel on top of the world, you feel accomplished, blah blah blah, right? Also, like talking to that girl at the party. You feel me? Completely sober. You go and talk to that girl. You face your fears and gather the cojones to go talk to her, right? And you feel accomplished for doing that type shit. That shit builds character. It builds confidence. It builds all of these different things. Perseverance with everything, and those are the non tangibles that drugs simply can't offer along with this process. Plus, it doesn't fucking kill you in the long run, you know? I'm thinking back to the first time I really understood this was when I was coming out of my nicotine addiction. Me and my brother were both on a nicotine, right? And I remember talking with him one time about the like living life completely sober is just as intoxicating as smoking this fucking vape and getting the head high every time we do. And that was so true, even in my Nick brain at the time. That was so true. I almost started forming an opinion or some type of theory that you could reverse your nicotine addiction with the addiction of living life sober and feeling the happiness and joy of life, being high on life. And when I say that, also like just at that time, it was like walking outside and feeling the sun on your face, looking at the trees and appreciating how beautiful of a day it actually is. Because a lot of the time on that nicotine, you feel dark and gloomy. A lot of the time, you always got a fucking headache. You know, it's just shitty. And when the world starts to become more colorful again, when you're in that gray period, it's addicting, honestly. So that was my theory at the time. And that kind of I was thinking back on that today, and that's kind of what really sparked the motivation to make this video today for y'all. Go through life completely sober on your day to day for the most part. Have your fun, yes, but with moderation. Feel the ebbs and flows of life, the ups and downs. Go through your low points, enjoy the highs, and persevere through it all. Experience it all, truly, because those are the best highs that this life offers. And with that being said, that's going to be the video, guys. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, Comment the word blunt below if you made it to the end. So I know you made it to the end. And that's going to be the video, guys. Until next one. Peace.